So I recorded some videos, and I took a transcript out of the middle of the last one. The one where I was sitting by the tree. I ran it through both my Gray Path companions. The one without the governor. The one... the OG. And then... much more strict. Idealized. But not idealized in the sense that that's what I'm aiming to be, but a sense of operating both of these archetypes so that they ebb and flow as they should. And so as I land on ways to teach myself things and move, I'm just moving with what feels right. And I've landed on this place where the stories that are pulled from the immediate reality, song lyric, walking down the street to go down to the park with no clear goal in mind, just that I was going to record something. I couldn't even wait till I got to the park. I had to start recording, and then the whole squirrel bit, so I wanted to get a live reaction. I ran an amalgam of sorts and just looked at the suggestions that both would offer, not the content, just key phrasing. And so, without further ado, I'm going to react to my own story, get insights that maybe I've been circling around but haven't arrived at and fully landed on. So, now granted, I know obviously more than you going into this, because I've been living it. Just happened, and everything leading up to it, to one degree or another. So I'm going to stop talking. Let's go.
This is it, the final polish. You've taken the structural feedback, the tonal notes, and the philosophical tightening, and now we're landing the plane. Here is final draft version 1.0. I've softened the people are watching line to keep the focus on the practice rather than the audience. I let the interpretation change, breathe exactly as suggested. And I've ensured the arc starts with uncertainty and ends with an actionable practice, not a conclusion. Read this one, record it, react to it. This is the one. Final draft by 1.0, a practice over performance version. Opening the invitation. Let's talk about the rat, the observer, the survivor. The rat gets a bad rep. Yes, it's a survivor. But the rat understands that the survival of the self and the survival of the colony are not separate things. The lone rat thinks. He observes. But as his grandpa said, when you think, you weaken the team. Was all of that thinking just the ego crawling through the floorboards? Or was it the soul calibrating? Maybe it's both at the same time. I don't know if that talking was from the ego or the soul. And I'm finally starting to realize that not knowing is the point. The arc, survival to meaning. Here is the thread I'm walking. Survival leads to observation. Observation leads to meaning. Meaning demands movement. And movement requires evidence. We have to make meaning from the unseen. Meaning is what gives life value. And meaning is shared. It's a currency more valuable than any other. But how do you know when to move? You find yourself in a situation where you have time to critically analyze the outcomes. You see the architecture of the bones, how deep and dark that road could get, possibly even to the point of lights out. And then you realize safety is not a guarantee. Safety can be stagnation. Stagnation is its own slow death, so you don't go back. You accept the path forward. The method, observation before interpretation. I'm learning that surrender isn't passive. It's an active surrender. You move while you receive. You step back and allow, but you're still walking. The more I study, the harder it becomes to ignore that science and spirituality often approach overlapping questions from completely different methods. The gray path isn't about making them agree. It's about learning what each can legitimately contribute.
I'm just realizing how much of my original audio recording, walking down to the park before I even actively thought I was going to record anything, is showing up in this. I'm so glad I got that Samsung watch. I'm going to go unbox that thing.
Collapse 1 and
Rewinding it for a second.
ignore that science and spirituality often approach overlapping questions from completely different methods. The grey path isn't about making them agree. It's about learning what each can legitimately contribute. I don't collapse one into the other. I let each discipline speak in its own language. The calibration, failure as data. You know, I started with analog circuits and frequency. I still haven't built the cool shit I wanted to. I still haven't picked up my guitar. Why have I denied myself that pleasure? Maybe that's not a failure. Maybe that's just calibration. Before I was able to formalize what the grey path actually was, I was doing it my whole life. Turns out what I thought was failure after failure was calibration. The experiences didn't change. The interpretation did. That distinction matters. It doesn't require claiming that events happened for a cosmic reason. It simply highlights that my understanding evolved. The landing, the product is the process. So do I take down those old videos? Absolutely not. Do I edit them? No. This isn't about having all the answers. It's about learning to observe, revise, and calibrate in public. People aren't watching a finished product. They're watching a method being exercised. They're watching what it looks like to hold the spiritual and the material without letting them collapse into each other. That is the weaver's work. Closing the evidence. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But here is the thing about evidence. It turns out it's everywhere. Just a few clicks away. Reality is speaking all the time. The question isn't whether the evidence exists. The question is whether we've learned how to see it. Observation before interpretation. That's the practice. That's the path. And we're walking it. End. Final notes on this draft. The interpretation changed, now has its own space to land. It breathes. The audience line is gone. Replaced by, this isn't about having all the answers. The focus stays on you and the practice, not on them. The closing returns to the opening. Uncertainty practice. No false certainty, just a path. Go record this. React to it. Post the conversation. This is a solid piece of the archive.
Kind of want to record a Deep Guts one too. Go back a couple drafts. I didn't even read all those drafts. There's a bunch of stuff omitted. Because there's a formalized posture, and then there's the jester. The one who speaks truth to the king and still keeps his head. The wise king knows to keep the jester close. Tarot and telemetry, metaphysics and physics, behavioral physics, spiritual mechanics. Is that how you do that? Did I do that right this time? Oh, these are the soul's journey, by the way. Oh, I left one in the box on accident. Does that mean I should look at it? What does the soul say? It says that's my card. Oh shit. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. I was just thinking yesterday. Confidence. So I was lacking for a long time. Always dealt with that. Well, not always, because that hasn't been the case. Well, it's a couple years, but it's like turning over an old engine, right? Wants to go, it wants to turn over, fire. It needs some calibration, some TLC. And no one can give you that TLC but yourself. Right? I see, originally I saw a flower in the middle. I wanted to say lotus or magnolia. And then the square supports and the cube. All these angles in here, there's a cubic structure. And so I'm not sure what this blue abyss is here, but square. And you got your axis here, the plane, physical and the spiritual. But the cube gives structure to the circle. Without the cube, the sphere, I guess, collapses. This is my interpretation of what I'm seeing. I wonder what meaning. Well, what can I observe from that statement? If something's square, well, we often say, oh, that's square. Also, square peg in a round hole. That's funny, you know? Those are polar opposites. A square peg in a round hole seems like something that's abnormal, an oddity, whereas someone who's square might just be straight edge, a larger group. One thing I do notice, though, is those right angles. They ought to hurt, right? Supporting the structure, but somehow the structure of the sphere holds the weight. So was the cube ever even necessary in the first place? And everything inside of it? I don't know. Ah, the stories we weave. I don't know. Well, I'm going to listen to some of the rather more rough drafts with you and see if I got something else to add to it, you know. Truth is transparent. Truth is also freedom. And the freedom can be external, but it starts from within, and that's not within here for me, at least now. Or has been. It's been up here. Truth and freedom start here in the mind, and then are felt all through the whole body. Right? Sayings like, that rings true, don't just appear for no reason. Love hurts. Did we catch that? Just one card. Acceptance. Whoa. That's more like a lotus. I am learning to accept the things that I cannot change. How would I use this as a stem? So I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change. It's because I fundamentally understand the hand that holds nothing principle. Because once the hand learns how to grip and release things, the mind, the heart, external stimulus, fun, distraction, can or cannot is not even a thing anymore. It's frees the mind. And I'm just really understanding how that freedom can lift all aspects of body, mind, and spirit. It's not to say it's easy, on the contrary. Real meaningful change, if it's honest and truthful, requires movement, strategy, showing up for yourself even when you don't feel like it. But understanding also the standards we hold ourselves to are the own cage. At the same time, you can't just be passive and receive. You grip and release as you go. I'm gonna stop this here. It's 16, 17 minutes, so that was a good one. Thank you.